diffuse the terrible cold. This is Christ in the car. Approach the day with an awareness of who is boss. As you make plans for the day, remember that it is I who orchestrate the events of your life. On the days when things go smoothly, according to your plans, you may be unaware of my sovereign presence. On days when your plans are thwarted, be on the lookout for me. I may be doing something important in your life, something quite different from what you expected. It is essential at such times to stay in communication with me, accepting my way as better than yours. Don't try to figure out what's happening. Simply trust me and thank me in advance for the good that will come out of it all. I know the plans that I have for you, and they are good. It's so true. Like the longer that you walk with God or the closer you are, it kind of starts to become comical. I talked about like some of the valleys that my family has gone through, and it's gotten to the point where you're like, you just shrug your shoulders and you just hold up your hands like, okay, I've talked about this quite openly to some, and some this may be a surprise, but back in I can't even tell you how long ago it was, but I did seek treatment, inpatient treatment for my anxiety and just my mental health in general. It was after my daughter's surgery. I went to Florida and I was inpatient. So, I was there for 45 days. It was during that time that my husband was officially diagnosed with cancer. When you're in inpatient treatment, you don't have access to your possessions. You only get your phone on a very limited basis, and then there's a community landline. I had called home, and my husband told me the news. Later that day, I wanted to check in with him. It wasn't a time when I was supposed to have my phone, so I had to say, can I use my phone? And they're like, well, you were supposed to provide a reason. And I said, I just found out my husband's been diagnosed with cancer. You can imagine when you're in a facility for mental health, there's a lot of lies that are told and people that are just trying to get their way or trying to get to have their phone or talk to their loved ones. So I said to the director, actually, and I said, I need to use my phone. My husband, he's been diagnosed with cancer and I just want to talk to him. And she said, if that's true, why aren't you crying? And I said, we've been through enough that crying isn't going to make a whole lot of difference. And it really felt that way. It really felt like I didn't have any tears left after everything that we had gone through. And I knew it was a possibility. And so I had kind of prepared myself. And I had a conversation with God prior to that, given everything that we had been through. Nothing was surprising me anymore. At the same token, I knew that we could handle it. I knew that we would be okay. I didn't know what okay looked like. This lady, she still thought I was lying. And I said, so I told her, I'm like, we've been through this. I'm like, this is just another test. This is just another test of our faith. And it's another opportunity for us to walk and grow closer with God because we don't know what's on the other side of this diagnosis. When you experience something on the unknown, I feel like the fear is actually more jarring than the actual outcome, if you will. The fear of losing a job can almost be worse than actually losing the job because you're like, okay, I have a path and I'm going to be strong and I'm going to walk and I'm going to put all my faith in him. But there's that fear is like, what am I going to do if this happens? What am I going to do if my husband leaves me? What am I going to do if we don't have enough money to pay this bill? What am I going to do if my health goes downward? You're going to put your faith in God and you're going to continue to walk closer to him. And excuse the cold. I got to